Okay, so I wanted to ask you, the main thing I didn't ask you when we were hiking is, like, the question of all questions. I'm sure you get asked this all the
Okay.
time, but you never really talk about being autistic, yet you branded yourself as the Autistic Mystic.
Yo. Oh my, you have no idea. I don't know how real I wanna get about this. I'll just be 100% authentic as usual. Um, so I recorded videos in nature for 2 years, pardon my language. But I
Okay.
record I always introduce myself as, like, Austin Reed. And I needed something. I was in Sedona, Arizona, and I needed to change my YouTube channel to be successful because I'm like, I'm not giving up on this. Like, I'm gonna go until this works. And then I got like a flash of insight, like change your name to the Autistic Mystic, almost like out of nowhere. I was like, that's a crazy epic rhyme, and I've never heard it before, and it fits my personality well. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put my name as that. But of course, there was an uproar, and everyone that I grew up with, a lot of people that I grew up with that I was successfully like masking. I masked my autism with them for, and it's like super like light level, but
Mm.
still like I was able to mask with my like friends, my like sports friends and everything. So like once I put my name as the Autistic Mystic, it was before everyone was cool with autism. It was literally like people were like, bro, you're like abusive, like you're not autistic. Like it was like everyone invalidating my reality. And there was like questions were like, dude, you're gonna get canceled. And I think I like started a trend or something energetically because then everyone started like realizing it was something different. Um and then I got into astrology and I realized that like my chart, like I had an astrologer that was like, I don't really believe in autism, but if I were to say someone was autistic based on astrology, you have the aspect. Mercury in astrology is the planet that deals with how your mind works,
Mhm.
and Chiron is like your deepest wound, and it's like it deals with like alternative things and like being like basically a weirdo,
Mhm.
and those are an aspect to each other. So my mind is like my communication style is like unusual, and my mind works unusual.
You have
Yeah.
Mercury in Aries, right? And what's your Chiron in?
Chiron is in Chiron is in Scorpio. So you would think that it's yeah, Chiron's in Scorpio. But
Okay.
so I felt like somewhat guilty because I was like doing it to get attention at first. I was like, I need a name, I need to switch up. So it was kind of like a thug attitude where I was just like, I'm going to
Yeah.
use this. I don't care what the results are. And then it was like a magical synthesis of actually discovering like, no, this is like provable. Because the whole thing, like when everyone was hating on me, because like I know that I'm on the autistic spectrum. And part of the goal was to actually change the perception of it.
Nice.
And also because like, yeah, like I always wanted to change like what people thought like autistic people are like. But everyone knows there's like levels to it. You have like Elon Musk who or like people have like the autism that's like highly functioning. And I
Mhm.
wanted to like portray that. But there was a period of time, if I'm being 100% honest with you, where I was expecting like these questions and I just wanted to like piss people off. And like, they're like, so what is with this autism? And I just wanted to be like self diagnosed, like in order to trigger a reaction on purpose. So it was kind of a marketing thing, but it is who I am. It's an epic name. And I don't talk about it because it's just not my focus. It's not like an area that I want to focus. But if you just type in autistic on the internet, usually the mystic comes out next to it now. So it's kind of like a key
Really?
search engine
Oh,
hack.
shoot, let's go, you did
Yeah.
it. Did you ever, like, formally get diagnosed, or were you just like, "I know I have this?"
No, I was like, I don't yeah, like I know that I have this. And then I got formally diagnosed by an astrologer. So there's an astrologer who calls himself a diagnostic astrologer. And
Nice.
he diagnoses people with different things based on their chart. And like, he's like, if autism wasn't a word or a diagnosis, like you have this. So my reality basically just got proven to me. And that unlocked a bigger goal for me, which was like, holy shit, I trusted my intuition when everyone went against me.
Mm.
And I realized that it was correct. And
Hmm.
so that's when astrology became the focus of like, this is like insane. And
Interesting.
so yeah,
So you really got into astrology more when you realized that it was true because it confirmed
yes.
your own belief.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Yeah. So it was like a wild moment where I was like, it was like weight off my shoulders, kind of like, because like part of me egoically like never wanted to get like a formal diagnosis because of like, I don't know, whatever. And like the rebel in me wanted people to challenge it for it to open dialogue, basically. I didn't want to like be like, F you, I'm like, just, but part of the reason why I know I'm autistic is because I've always communicated in the most awkward, funny ways possible my whole life. Like I just say random things or like especially when I get close with someone, like the mask goes off and I like everyone is just like this is like like it's weird. Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, it's just like maybe it's similar to what you see when I'm like in the videos and I'm like really just like free associating kind of thing.
Yeah.
So and, like, I've always loved actually autistic people, like, kids that I went to high school with that, like, you knew 100%, like, or literally were diagnosed as autistic, always were, like, so good and, like, I liked them better than a lot of people.
You understood them.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and it made sense, like, it just I don't know, yeah, because I always had a lot of friends growing up, like, it's not that I struggled with, I was able to mask it really well, let's just say that,
Yeah.
um, so do you think I'm autistic?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Well, I don't have any judgment on it. I just,
No, I know.
autistic or autistic. I don't really think like
No, because
I
I still have people that are like, "Bro, you're not like, this is not cool, bro."
yeah, but
And so it's like a debate.
I mean, it's funny that you self-proclaimed it. Like, I think that that's actually quite honorable. Like, for example, I knew that I had BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, many years before I finally asked a therapist to send me to a psychiatrist so I could get diagnosed. I didn't do it the astrology way, but I tried to like figure out, is this true? Because I've done a lot of research and I feel like this is what it is, right? But it was interesting because as soon as it was confirmed for me, it was similar to you, like a weight had been lifted, and I'm like, "Holy shit, okay, sweet, I have BPD. Now I can function again," because I
Yeah,
know that I can name this thing, and, but then I quit therapy because I was like, I don't want like, I was like it's kind of the opposite of what you did. You were like, "I'm gonna fully own this," and I was like, "I think I can get better. I don't wanna be stuck in this diagnosis forever." Little did I know it's not a forever diagnosis. You can actually get better from BPD. It's just nothing
mhm.
that I read indicated that. Like,
Yeah,
everything I read
yeah,
online was like, "You're forever." So I, like, immediately was like I didn't reject the diagnosis, but I rejected, like, the system that diagnosed me, you know? And
yes.
so now though, like, this is years later, and I never went back to therapy, but I learned dialogue, and dialogue really helped me to actually heal, which weird, I would never expect, like, a connection like, a communication system for relationships would help heal, like, my brain, but it did. And so now I'm making a series or, I'm writing, I'm not making yet, but I am making a series called Borderline Brilliant. So it's like how this girl, goes from BPD to, like, actually being, like, a brilliant, like, businesswoman, and so, um, I've definitely owned it more now, I've talked about it a lot, I just did my first podcast guest on the BPD bunch, so I talked about, like, my experience with it and how I healed and stuff like that, but yeah, I kind of, like, can relate to your story, because the weightlifting thing is, like, a big thing once you finally are like, "Oh, this is confirmed, thank God," like, you can now work with the energy instead of just always feeling like it's this thing in the background that's like, "Maybe it's this," and you're not guessing anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and, like, that's actually a good point about, like, improvement and being able to, like, remedy it or change it because, like, growing up, I put 0 effort into that, but I just got by because, like, I played sports or, like, I was in the right clique or groups and I just got by. But then, like, before my YouTube channel, like, took off for, like, 2 years, like, I improved my social skills. Like, I learned, like, social dynamics. And so that's why it's important, like, with my name, it's like I'm not trying to lock myself into being an
Right.
antisocial person because I think everyone to a certain degree, like, in a similar position to me, can just get better at socializing, like, you can just improve your skills. You can learn a lot of things how to socialize, even if it's, like, you have a limitation with it, you shouldn't, like, get stuck in it. So that's why, yeah, I've always felt awkward about my name. So, it's actually it's probably the best question. No one's ever asked me that, and it's
Never
so
asked you.
well, in, like, a dialogue way, in, like, in a podcast way, no.
Wow.
I think
Huh.
people are like, they don't want to offend me maybe, or I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, it's interesting because, I mean, when we were recording, like, I don't know why like, I didn't really do a whole lot of prep, to be honest, for our podcast because I know we kind of
Yeah.
I was kinda like, "Okay, we already, like, flow, so I feel like I don't need to, like, prepare," but it was stupid because this was, like, the main, obviously, like, question that I wanted to ask, but I don't know why I forgot. Looked back later and I was like, "Why didn't I ask, like, the main question?" I was like, "Oh, you know what? It's because he never really actually like, I've never heard him, like, talk about it." So I didn't even, like, think like, I didn't really associate, to a certain extent anymore, the autistic mystic with autism. I was like sometimes my brain goes to, like, Austin, sometimes when I hear autistic, like, I just go Austin because it's the same AUT, whatever.
AU, yeah.
Yeah, and so it all makes sense now because you're basically saying, "Well, I don't really, like, talk about the identity. It's not really part of, like, what I present and all this stuff." So, like, yeah.
Well, that's also something I learned, like, when I was learning social skills, like, in general, like, if you it's not a good look to, like, emphasize your title out of proportion, which is
Mm,
something I struggle with, like, when you're, like, over attached to, like, a title, it kind of, like, is like a mask or, like, an insecurity or, like so that's why, like, having an alias, which is, like, creating your own name is, like, awesome, but then you, like, lose yourself in it or there's, like, downsides to it.
yeah.
So, I just every time I think about changing it, I'm like, "It's just too good."
It
Like,
is good.
it's just
It
too, like I don't wanna give it up.